On this episode of This, That, and All Things Cinema, I'll be giving my thoughts on the final trailer for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Hello and welcome to another installment of the This, That, and All Things Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Ryan David Rogers. And as you can tell, if you are viewing this podcast on YouTube, there's actually video to it this time. Yes, I'm planning for the YouTube release of the This, That, and All Things Cinema podcast going forward to actually include a video portion or video for the entire thing. And one other thing, the big reason why there's going to be video on the YouTube release, even though at the moment it's only going to YouTube, I am planning on releasing the podcast on other platforms as time goes on. It's just a matter I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Yet being the key word. But if you're at all curious about that kind of thing, just subscribe to the Thorndike Productions YouTube channel where this podcast is hosted on. And that's about it. Let's move on to the trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. The best... if I had to sum up my thoughts on Rise of Skywalker trailer in one go, is I was not impressed. Putting it bluntly, I was not impressed. I was not impressed with the Rise of Skywalker final trailer. And I think a lot of that has to do with... Okay, let me see if I can explain it. Most of the awesome action stuff that kind of goes on throughout this final trailer is only being done by one character, by Rey. Now, I just want to make one thing perfectly clear before I continue my thoughts. I don't hate Rey as a character. I have nothing against Daisy Ridley, even though I just screwed up pronouncing her last name. Having said all that, the Star Wars films to me has always been a bit of a ensemble kind of thing. Like, even though the original trilogy was more focused on Luke Skywalker's journey, even though the prequel trilogy was more focused on Anakin and Obi-Wan, there was still other characters that always did interesting things throughout the films. I mean, you have, just for an example, Han Solo being Han Solo. You have Yoda's fights with Emperor Palpatine and Count Dooku. Sorry, my mind's drawing a blank. It's been a while since I've actually watched any of the Star Wars films, so I'm kind of working off of memory. But the trailer did not really give that impression. I mean, there was like a moment where BB-8 did something cool, but most of it was done by Rey, which here's my concern. My concern is, in order to keep the overall happenings or the major things of the trailer of the film vague before it actually hits theaters, that they can only show whoever edited the trailer together decided that they could only show Rey doing action kind of stuff, whether it be her running, jumping. I think in the trailer she did destroy something. Oh right, she also fought Kylo Ren, which I just want to get this off my chest right now. And this is about The Force Awakens, the whole final fight which was basically Finn and Rey versus Kylo Ren. For those who say that Rey should not have won that fight, that Kylo Ren should have won it because he is a lot more experienced with the Force, you got to keep in mind he was wounded by Chewbacca and then had to fight Finn, who Finn doesn't really know know the ways of the Force, but he has had combat training due to the whole being a stormtrooper thing. So the fact that Kylo was worn down and was presumably bleeding a lot, it definitely makes sense that Rey would have the upper hand being not as exhausted. Okay, just wanted to get that out of the way. So, kind of trying to circle back to the whole... I feel like the lightsaber duel for Rey versus Kylo Ren, I'm still wondering how that is going to turn out, because, again, Kylo Ren is more experienced in the Force due to being trained by Luke Skywalker, and if I recall correctly from The Last Jedi, most of Rey's training, she did some training from Luke, but most of it was kind of like on her own. So, I mean, again, it's definitely going to be interesting to see these two different styles of teaching, and clearly styles of lightsaber combat, because lightsabers originally were kind of more based off of samurai swords, like katanas, well, as Kylo Ren's lightsaber is clearly is inspired by a knight's broadsword. So clearly they're going to be different fighting styles, so that's going to at least be somewhat interesting to me. And then again, I'm just kind of a nerd like that. But having said all that, I kind of feel like the anticipation I'm feeling for the last, for not the Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, is more of a kind of getting closure kind of thing. Because, you know, you saw in the trailer that they were able to have Leia, at least going to be in it briefly, using unused footage from the previous 2 films in the sequel trilogy, which that'll definitely be a good way, I feel will be a good way to kind of salute Carrie Fisher, since her death was really, well, I guess people were expecting it to happen once the reports came in that she had a heart attack, but I think a lot of us were hoping that she would come out of it just fine, but didn't. So I guess the big question that I gotta ask myself is, will I actually be going to see the Rise of Skywalker in theaters? I did see The Force Awakens in theaters. I did see The Last Jedi in theaters. But with The Last Jedi, I didn't see it opening weekend. For The Last Jedi, it was a few weeks into its theatrical run. And there's a fly on my camera lens. I don't know if I'm going to be going to see The Rise of Skywalker in theaters. The trailer did not really feel tantalizing enough for me. Like, you didn't see enough of other characters being able to do something cool. I hope it's just a case that they saved it for the film itself. But I feel like if it's going to be all on Rey, then I just don't know. I really don't. But I will say one more thing. That kind of like ice planet looking kind of thing that all those TIE fighters were heading towards in the trailer, that looked pretty cool. And if you have not seen the trailer for The Rise of Skywalker itself, I will include that in the show notes. So I guess that's kind of about it. Those are my thoughts on the trailer for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. And that's it for now. If you like this podcast, please be sure to follow it, whether it be through the Thorndike Productions Facebook page or through the Thorndike's Production YouTube channel. Thank you all so much. My name is Ryan, and I'm out. Peace.